booktube. Emmy Walker here to do another book review. Today's book is The Sin Eater's Daughter by Melinda Salisbury. And let us first start off by talking about how beautiful this cover is. I know every time I show this book to you, I gush on it. But it's beautiful. Look at it. It's so pretty. All the green and the blue and the blood just... Ugh. It's beautiful. I love it. Anyway, so The Sin Eater's Daughter is about a girl who is the executioner, the royal executioner, and she is given a poison every month to drink, which she then absorbs into her skin and makes her poisonous. And she, is required to execute, traitors to the throne. The only people who can touch her are going to be the royal family, king, queen, prince, which means that she is betrothed to the prince. Lucky girl, get to marry a prince, all you have to do is swallow poison every month. Gross. So, Twyla, I think that's how you say her name, Twyla, she accepts this role. She has always believed herself to have some type of destiny. In the beginning, before she even knew she was destined to be this, I don't know how to say it's the down and embodied. It's like the daughter of these two goddesses, and they have chosen her, which is why she can swallow this poison, okay? But before she was this, embodied goddess daughter, her mother was the Sin Eater, and she was training to become the next Sin Eater. So a Sin Eater, basically, when somebody dies, each food is set atop their coffin, is set to represent, each different food is set to represent a different sin. And the Sin Eater comes in, that's hard to say. The Sin Eater comes in and, eats all this food, consumes all the sins so that they can kind of go off to a happy afterlife, alright? And, it's gross, actually, because some of the foods that you have to eat are foul, but whatever, so it goes, I guess. However, as she is this down and embodied, she's accepting her way of life, but then this new guard comes along and kind of changes her way of thinking, and then, drama ensues. I don't really know how much I can say without spoiling. I don't want to ruin things, but yeah, so that's what that is. So I really did enjoy this book, particularly the first half of the book. The first half is where you're really getting to know them, which is normally where I find the most boring, but all the stuff that's involved with getting to know them is so interesting. All the mythology with it, and even though it's not technically myth, they're supposed to, they really believe in the gods and the gods exist and all that, so it's not technically myth for them. But all of that learning, where the poison comes from and all that crap, and it's really fun. And then you get to the second half, and it's all about the love story. It was not what I was expecting. I was expecting there to be like a war. I mean, even in here, I think it says like, the queen plans to destroy her enemies with a stomach-churning, unthinkable sacrifice, and I can't recall any type of stomach-churning, unthinkable sacrifice the queen, makes. But, whatever. Got me reading the book, at least, though all you needed was this cover to get me reading the book. So I gave, the first half of the book a 5, because one of my favorite parts about this book was because she was, growing up to become the next Sin Eater, stepping away from that life, it's still so ingrained into her everyday, life. So she would eat, anything she would eat would always become like, she would think, what this sin was and what this sin was, and it was so... It enveloped her world, the sins, and sometimes she would even refuse food because she didn't want to be, afraid that she was taking in these sins. I don't know, I just thought it was such a fun little quirk of hers to just, every food, every time she saw any type of food or smelled a food or whatever, it was just what sin it could be attributed to. I thought that was really neat. But then again, like I said, the second half of the book was all about the love story, and while I love a good love story, I wanted it to be about the, Sin Eater's daughter. I wanted it to be about this goddess. And I don't know. So the first half I thought was a 5. The second half I thought was like a 2.5, a 3. I ended up giving it a total of 4 stars, mainly because of the beginning half of the book. I believe this is going to be made into more than one book. The ending, it ended. There was an ending. But she could continue on with it. I'm pretty sure she's going to continue on with it. I don't know. I hope she does, because I will read it, and it's very, very interesting. and I hope it becomes more of just, you know, just the love story, you know. I've had enough of that. So that was my review of The Sin Eater's Daughter by Melinda Salisbury. I hope this made sense to you. I usually write down what I'm going to say ahead of time, but I did not do that this time. I'm a little pressed for time, so I hope it made sense to at least one of you watching. I did really enjoy it. It was a great story. I highly recommend it, especially if you like a good love story, or a, you know, tragic love story in some cases, I guess. Not really tragic, but doomed, I think is what the word they use, the doomed love story, I don't know. But it's a good book and entertaining. If any of you have read this book as well, let me know what you thought of it. I'd love to hear your opinions. If you're planning on reading it, let me know, you know, if I've pushed you over the edge and made you want to read it that much more, or if I've just totally confused you with my fast talk. I really do try not to talk so quickly, but I blame my sisters. They talk over top of me, and so if I didn't talk fast, I didn't get to say anything at all, and clearly I have a desire to talk. I mean, why else would I be filming myself talking about books? Anyway, make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you later, BookTube! Anyway, so the Synergy, that was my If any of you have already read it, let me know what you thought of it. Did you hate it? Did you love it? You know, obviously that's what you would think of it. Why would I say, what do you think of it? And what? I was thinking I might eat it. There's something wrong with you, girl.